Welcome to the Mismatch. I'm Chris Vernon, and joining me as he does every week from TheRinger.com is Dave Jacoby. Jacoby!
What's happening, Verno?
Man, we are... I can't believe how we have not had any kind of downtime. It was like we went straight from the finals, straight to the draft, and now Summer League has already started, and we've had all manner of transactions going on in the week that has separated the draft up to Summer League. And so there is no rest for the weary when it comes to basketball. I think I had like maybe a few down nights where I was like, man, no NFL, no NBA. And I actually even watched the Summer League games starting this weekend just to check out the rookies and especially the ones that I'd never seen before.
I took a look at some Summer League this evening. I watched a little Topic. It was good. He could pass. The kid could pass. But
yeah, you know what? I was disappointed. Might as well get this one out of the way. I was disappointed. I tuned in tonight before we were recording on this Monday night.
Yeah, me too.
I wanted the VJ Edgecombe experience.
I was wondering why he wasn't playing. He's
not playing in this one, in this Utah Summer League. I watched him in his first game.
Oh, dude.
Hey, I'm just going to tell you this. Grand, massive overreaction. Jacoby, I feel safe in telling you this. I've been going to Summer League for a decade. I have seen all manner of Summer League games.
It's gross.
Guys don't look like that, though. They do not look like that. This dude was snatching the ball off the rim, going end to end and cracking it. He was blocking shots at the rim. He was knocking down threes. I was like, yo, I don't know about all this Ace Bailey stuff that went on leading up to the draft, but it looks like Philadelphia has got them one in this guy because I was blown away with the first, seeing him on a court with some size against some guys with some bigger speed on an NBA court, even if it is just Summer League. He was mega impressive.
It is just Summer League, and everyone will tell you, like, don't read too much into Summer League. It's not the NBA. It looks different, blah, blah, blah. But when you see something like that, like, why not overreact? What's the point?
No,
watching NBA basketball. He looked like just like a superior athlete to all of his peers.
To everybody else. Why does he look so much better than everybody?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
these other guys get paid.
I've had this happen a lot over the years, and sometimes it ends up being duds, especially with the guards. You could be either the bully ballers that are just bigger and stronger than guys, kind of the perimeter guys that could just muscle their way to the rim, or like the shoot first guards. A lot of times they could put up some big numbers or whatever, but it was reminiscent of like years ago. I saw Donovan Mitchell have 10 steals in a Summer League game. And me and Kevin O'Connor came back on the Mismatch, and I said, I cannot believe what I just watched. Likewise, Jalen Johnson, the kid from Atlanta a few years ago in Summer League, like just jumped. He just looked better than everybody. And it's like when you see the guys that play like that, you're like, okay, they're different.
As a Knicks guy, I was watching Kevin Knox, and I was like, oh, we got one.
Oh, no way.
We got one.
No way.
Remember his Summer League? His Summer League looked good.
No, I was at his first game
He
ever.
looked good.
No.
He looked good in Summer League.
No. Zion.
I'm not going to look up his stupid stats, but he looked good in Summer League.
I'm telling you, Zion ripped the ball away from him and dunked it. And I was like, give me that ball, bitch.
I do remember that.
That was the first game ever.
That was our first look at Zion, too. I was like, this is different. Do you remember Zion's first ever NBA game? He hit like 4 threes in the first 15 minutes. It's like, who is this guy?
So we've had a bunch of transactions and then some odd ones come in. In fact, the one that broke this morning as we record this on Monday morning, led to a lot of people via social media being like, what is this? You had Norm Powell going to the Heat. You had John Collins going to the Clippers. And then you just had money going to Utah.
Kevin Love in slow-mo. You see Kevin Love on social?
I did.
He's having a ball with this.
Calling it a math problem?
Yeah, he's posting clips from movies and stuff. I really enjoy what he's doing with this.
I thought Norm Powell was absolutely awesome for the Clippers last year. Could have been an all-star last year. And I know that the Heat are going to have to pay him after a year. But Norm Powell has got one of the great deals going right now in terms of production versus what he gets paid. And I was surprised that the Clippers bid a due to him, but I actually really like the John Collins fit. I'm down with the John Collins revival. I'm down with the John Collins becoming the Clippers' Aaron Gordon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of these guys that, like, he could get you 19 and 8 if you need him to, but now just kind of little later in the career can fall into a role with them as an athletic big. And I love the Collins, as long as he can, his finger's fine and he can knock down the threes.
I do remember that.
That got weird. That got really weird. And it really almost took his career out.
Also rumors of, how do I explain? I'll be nice. Chemistry problems between him and Trae Young.
For sure.
There
wasn't rumors. Don't you remember that whole story that came out and it somebody leaked their entire locker room fight with Nate McMillan and Clint Capella and they were all trashing Trae Young. I was like, oh God, this isn't good. They got somebody that's literally giving word for word what happened in the locker room. That's not great, but
it's easy to be glass half full on John Collins.
Oh, I like him. And he's just been, he's been wasting away in Utah anyway.
Utah stats shouldn't even matter. It's not even worth looking at,
I don't even understand. Go look at Utah's roster and you're like, is this where you expect Ace Bailey to become the best version of himself? This is gonna be terrible. I know they didn't hit the lottery with Cooper Flagg, but my God, look at that roster now, and it's like this is pathetic.
They're tanking, and it's July 8th.
Summer League. They're tanking Summer League.
They're tanking Summer League. They're tanking. It's July 8th. Even you look at the teams. How do I explain? The Hornets or the Blazers. You're just kind of all right. Maybe you can put together something, and maybe improve on last year. But the Jazz is nah, we're out. We're gone. We're good.
Well, and it's Isaiah Collier. Look, you are going to for everybody that wants to get a beat on what the Jazz are going to do, just watch Summer League. That's their team.
Yeah.
Isaiah Collier, Ace Bailey, Cody Williams, Kyle Filipowski. Just watch them in Summer League. At least they had, guys. There were guys that, on nights where they'd have to bench them just to make sure they didn't win because John Collins and Colin Sexton would be trying, and then Will Hardy's
Jordan
all
Clarkson,
right, enough of that. Right. Yeah,
they don't have those guys anymore.
No, they don't even have any of those guys.
They don't have those guys anymore.
It's
fine. They don't have to at all.
The Heat, who knows? They're kind of the quest to the middle, and then they'll figure it out whenever they can make a big offseason splash, which obviously isn't going to be this offseason. And then John Collins to the Clippers, I like. I like them adding for their front court. They've added Brook Lopez and they've added John Collins. I do think they will miss Norm Powell. I do.
Yeah.
They will miss Norm Powell, but I do like the Collins addition.
Do you think these players will be on these teams next year? That's kind of when I saw this trade, I was like, because they're both expiring. I said, I wonder if these teams will be in these uniforms next season. And I think the answer is no. Yeah, I think the answer is no. It's kind of I'll trade your expiring for my expiring, and Utah will get worse. Everybody wins. Yep. Yeah.
One of the moves that we really liked when we last spoke was Valančiūnas going to the Denver Nuggets with that trade. And now that seems to be in possible peril, though the Nuggets have kind of dug their heels in, and they're saying, we fully intend on him honoring his contract, which I suppose is code for, we don't care, Greek team, if you want to try to buy this out. We're not interested in buying out his contract to go play in Europe. We want him to play for the Denver Nuggets. And we thought, boy, this really gives them a save in those non-Jokic minutes because he's one of those guys that could certainly be very productive, especially in a less than 20-minute role. Right? You got 18 minutes of Jonas Valanciunas. I promise you, he's going to get double-doubles in that amount of time. He has done it over the course of his career. This guy might be the king of the 24-minute, 17-point, 12-rebound game. And so it stinks that this is going on. Obviously, he's met with the Greek team. It's all so bizarre.
The oddest part to me is that he was in Athens.
Right.
That part is, we can do a Zoom. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to fly to Memphis every time we record a pod. And I don't know if it's part of his vacation trip. I don't know. Right now, he might be in the Mediterranean on a yacht. That was part of his plans or whatever. But I found it very odd that he was physically in Athens, which means, in my mind, if it's inconvenient, which I'm assuming it is, that he was pretty serious about this, which means he's unhappy about his role in the Nuggets.
Well, the other thing is under contract player. It's not like he's a guy that is done with this contract and now I want to go play overseas.
Exactly.
Like, bro, you just got traded.
He's not trying to start a bidding war. He has another year where he has to play in the NBA. And I don't think the Nuggets are going to be like, you know what? We'll just charge it to the game. Right. Go explore your journey like it's Love Island. We're open. You know what I mean? It's just like, what are we doing? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand him flying to Athens for this unless he is really unhappy, which makes me a little concerned about the addition. But at the same time, you can be unhappy for 1 year. We need you to
I don't know. Maybe playing for the Wizards and the Kings just ruined his will to play in the NBA.
That can happen.
Like, you know what? I can't take this anymore.
Next not guaranteed for him either. He's making $10.3 million. Right. I don't know what the salaries are like in the EuroLeague. Or I can't even pronounce it. Palatheniakos. I don't know. Gyros, whatever.
You did good.
But I don't think he's getting. No, I did. I don't think he's getting more than $10 million. Right?
No.
Maybe he'll get a bigger deal. Maybe he wants like 4 years. Maybe he just wants like a longer deal, and he's happy to be in Greece.
Yeah, he wants to be in Greece, right? I mean,
he's got a legit chance to win a championship.
Yeah, I don't know who
you were on the Wizards, dude.
Honestly, I don't know who reps him anymore. But back in the day, you'll love this. This is from Summer League, no less. So Memphis acquires Jonas Valanciunas, and Jonas Valanciunas shows up at Summer League to sign his deal. And so I call PR, and I'm like, I've got to interview him. And so we do it from my hotel room. And walking into my hotel room, of course, is Jonas Valanciunas, who is absolutely monstrous. His wife, who looks like a new age version of Drago's wife, right? She's beautiful. And his agent, Leon Rose, now running the Knicks. So I don't know who his agent is anymore, but that was one of Leon's big clients back in the day. Was Jonas Valanciunas, and so I don't know who reps him now. But this is just a very, very strange situation, and one that we just don't deal with in the NBA.
I thought he was going to stay on the Nuggets. I understand you might be interested in playing in Greece or whatever. Maybe that'll happen next year. But when I heard he was in, like, boots on the ground in Athens, I've spent the summer in Athens before when I worked at the Olympics. It was lovely, but like, it's just a weird spot to be, like, to fly to Athens for a meeting.
Well, and obviously, like, also. He played for the Wizards and the Kings last year. He's about to go back up Jokic. Like, this is going to be...
That's what I'm saying. He's a great spot for him to be.
He's got a chance to win the title. I mean, we loved the Cam, Bruce Brown, Valančiūnas offseason. Like, that's a good one. That's a good one for Denver. And so, kind of strange, and hopefully they could get that thing worked out. Obviously, they're trying to dig their heels in on it. A couple other things of note. Paolo Banchero signed his extension, locking him up with the Orlando Magic. And I think most importantly, not just locking him up, Jacoby, they've now got Paolo, Franz, Suggs, Bane. All of them are locked up through 28-29. So
they're
core
committed to this core.
Yes. I mean, it's got to be good enough. But they've got their 4 guys that they are paying, and they're locked in and through 28-29. Now, this can really get dicey if what happens, what I think is a likely thing to happen, does happen, which is he signed for 5 years, $237 million. But if he makes all NBA, it triggers the auto upping of the contract all the way up to 287. And after the All-Star break, he averaged 29, 8, and 4.5 assists.
If he's healthy, he's all NBA. If he's healthy,
going to be
he's
all
NBA.
NBA.
He's proven that when he plays, he's an all NBA player. But like, I get it if you're the Magic.
Of course, you have to lock him in forever.
Also, Suggs is on a good deal.
Yep.
And I think I think Wagner's a little bit of a question mark with shooting and defense, but though having that core in the building for the foreseeable future puts you in the Eastern Conference firmly in the playoff, assuming health.
Especially at their ages, and with Banchero, interesting. Think about how highly they think of him. That they're willing to do whatever. He is the first guy since 2021 to get a player option on the end of this rookie max. Mm-hmm. Luka and Trey both got those. Nobody's gotten one of those since. And Paolo got it for the 2030-2031 season. He got a player option for the last year. It's just very uncommon. And
also, if things go well, they'll probably extend him before that.
Of course they will.
So it's like, listen, like I think they're like, we drafted you number one. We are we're in the Paolo Banchero business. We want you to be here for the foreseeable future. And I do not blame them based on what he's put on the court. And his injury history is more fluky than it is sort of like problematic, if you ask me.
Yep. I agree with you.
And I've seen the Pit. I've seen season 1 of the Pit, so I'm a doctor.
Oh, you think now that you have a very good medical acumen? Is that right? It's going to be coming super handy during the NBA season with all the injuries.
6 ER doctors, high-level ER doctors on my rec league basketball team. So I've got that medical knowledge to rely on. And I watched season 1 of The Pit. So I'm basically that's medical school.
Yeah, I agree. I just try to follow doctors and trainers on social media, and then I act like I know what I'm talking about. I only got one text from you over the weekend, and it was lamenting the loss of Jay Huff.
Oh God, that was tough. That was tough.
As you went out of your way to watch Memphis Grizzlies games last year because you're a great friend.
Yeah.
You fell in love with Jay Huff.
Well, hold on. There's a couple things happening here. There's a macro and a micro thing that I want to say about this transaction. On a macro level, it happened a bit with the Bane trade and our text thread with Bill and House, and then you ending up on the Bill Simmons podcast.
Yep.
When someone gets traded for, and we'll discuss this later in the podcast about other players, all of a sudden, like, they're amazing. Like Jay Huff, like I saw like a Pacers account being like, "This is our new center," and it was just like all Jay Huff dunks, and it was like all of his highlights. I loved Jay Huff
because he dunks backwards every time.
In October and November, and then I texted you in like early November. I was like, we should do a thing on the show called the Huff Date, where we just update Jay Huff news. And guess what? There was no Huff dates after that because he didn't do anything in the second half of the season. And you watched every single Grizzlies game, and you know there weren't a lot of Huff dates. There wasn't a lot of big Jay Huff games. And the Pacers are replacing Myles Turner with Jay Huff. People are acting like it's like a 1-for-1 swap out.
Okay, I'm just going to tell you this. I love Jay Huff.
He's great.
Jay Huff's awesome. Great family, the whole thing. Fun guy to have on the team. A guy that could come in and might get you 9 points in 12 minutes.
Might get you 9 points in 4 minutes.
Light the arena on fire. Trailing threes. And he's going to make some shots for sure. But he is a backup center. Like, that's what he is.
Barely. And he's fun. He's a really fun guy to have on your local team. If he's on your team in your market, he's so fun to have. But the idea that you're going to replace Myles Turner production with Jay Huff, and I'm not even a big Myles Turner guy, to be honest with you. Like, that's not going to happen. And you can put together a social media clip that's like a minute and 10 seconds long that will convince you that Jay Huff is like better than Karl Anthony Towns.
Oh, hey, you don't have to tell me, because in the absence of Jay Huff,
which there's a lot of, because I watch Grizzlies games. I'm like, where's Jay Huff? And he's on the bench next to Yuki.
Yeah, but once that happened, once Jay Huff was gone, it was like, what is going on here? And then when you talk about watching videos, don't let me fall down a wormhole, and don't let me talk. You know, we have one of the most popular podcasts. One outside of the United States, I think our biggest country is Australia.
Oh, yeah.
The
Australia loves
they love
basketball. I was there last year.
Hey, our listeners hit me up and they said, Verno, you are gonna love Jock Landale.
It's Landale, but sure.
Landale. And I queued up, I fired up YouTube. I couldn't be more all in. I love this guy already.
Oh.
I love the accent. I love the grit.
He had like a mohawk when he was on the Suns.
Yes.
I was like, I love this guy.
He reminds me of like a Steven Adams type. He does.
Oh, God, please.
No. I'm saying when you watch these, he will flatten guys with screens. He will crash boards. He's got that edge. I'm telling you, these guys from New Zealand and these guys from Australia have got a toughness to them. That's because they wake up and they got friggin' rattlesnakes outside their door when they wake up. They got to fight off stuff going to school. Like they got all these venomous, poisonous animals everywhere.
Bro, I went to Australia for a week, 2 years ago with the Food News podcast with Juliet. Shout out to her. They've got wasps that are like 6 inches long. I remember this thing was flying around. It's like a wasp. It's like weighs 2 pounds. It's nuts. It is a different world. It is inhuman alien stuff over there. And Jock Landale's an alien, and he's going to turn into the next Steven Adams.
Don't you? I'll just tell you, don't you dare try to quell my excitement. Don't you dare.
Oh no, I was so excited about Jock Landale. He was on the the Suns 2 years ago, right? And last year was the Rockets.
Yes.
I didn't see a lot of him on the Rockets. It's interesting. I watched a lot of Rockets games.
You know why? You know where you should have gone? You should have gone to their practice court because there's a whole interview about how he went there and he said some programs I've been at, they haven't done this. But the guys that don't get to play, the most important thing you can do is to keep your edge.
Yes.
So what we would do, I put together the other guys. And it was all the guys that didn't get to play. And we would play hardcore. He said, and it was wars for an hour. And we had a championship belt for the other guys so that everybody was staying ready. Whenever they got their opportunity, they were ready to go in. He goes, and then we would get done and we would go do film. And then we would go lift weights.
Film of what? Film of the practice?
Then we had a boxing trainer come in. And we would box. And I'm like, I'm all in. I'm all in on Jock.
First of all, that's a fantastic story. I'm excited about your excitement of Jock Landale, and you will be disappointed by Jock Landale. But I love the way he looks, and I have heard similar stories about NBA players that don't play because you can't really go 100% before the game during the day, so they have to do 2 hours of working out between 10 and midnight. So I've heard bench players in New York City will be out until 4 or 5 in the morning because they kind of get off work at 1.
They also for sure never play. If you play for the Knicks.
Well, Jock Landale stayed ready for his opportunity. Never came.
Yeah, if you were player 10 through 15 for the Knicks, Tyler Kolek could go out until 6 in the morning every night, and it wouldn't make any difference.
But that'd be annoying to me if you had to because I can work out in the morning, but if I have to work out at 6 o'clock after work, I just can't do it because I'm just old and washed. But God, I would not want to work out between 10 and midnight every day.
Couple others, Duncan Robinson to Detroit. I mean, look, just stand out there and knock down threes. I thought it was a kind of a lot of money for a 31-year-old, but whatever.
I'm just curious about this Beasley thing. Can you not sign Beasley at a discount right now if you're the Pistons?
Yeah.
No,
not with what's about to come down.
What's about to come down? Nothing came down for Terry Rozier.
Oh, this dude's getting hammered. Look, did Terry Rozier owe everybody in the world money? Did you not read that article in the Detroit News? I was like, oh my God. Bro,
what is it?
His barber, his landlord, he owes every single person money. His agency, he was getting, they were going to what do they call it when they take a lien basically against your salary? Garnish your wages.
It's happened to me before.
What?
Long story.
You got your wages garnished?
I was in my 20s. I wasn't paying taxes. I was getting paid as a freelancer.
That's fair. I mean,
I was like 25.
Okay.
That's like the IRS.
But
is
that
super
was
cool.
so you were a victim of irresponsibility,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
a victim
but if
of.
you call the IRS, just anybody out there who's having tax problems, they are super cool about payment plans. Honestly, they're like, "What can you pay?" I was like, $50 a month. They're like, "Cool. What day of the month do you want to pay it?" I was like, "The 20th."
The other thing was, I mean, you got to read the article at some point. That's why I'm saying this dude's getting hammered. Like I feel this. You know what this feels like? When you read all the things that are like known that he's been sued for, he gets sued every time. Everybody sues him and wins, right? And all of these that were listed are known. Bro, imagine how much money he owes to people that you don't want
about.
people to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and those are the people that turn you in.
I think the only way.
Those are the people that ruin your life. Yeah, I promise you, the barber ain't ruined his life. But, dude, who has ever owed a barber $27,000? How many haircuts is that?
Oh, God.
Seriously.
The haircut I'm currently have, which is absolutely terrible, I got in a pinch in Chinatown. It cost $8. So 8 goes into 27,000.
Hold on. I'm going to see Jacoby haircuts. Hold on. I'm
3,000.
We're going to do the quick. We're going to do the quick math on this. All right, 27,000.
I'm going to say 3,400
divided by
haircuts. It gets you around there. I'm good at math.
Yeah, 3375.
Yeah, I'm good at math. I don't know if you know that about me. I can do math on the top of my head really well.
You could get 3,375 haircuts for $27,000. Unbelievable.
I was looking at my phone during the haircut. I looked in the mirror. I was like, "Oh God, this is awful."
The other thing is, like, Malik Beasley's not a guy that's well known for having the best hair. So, right? It's not something like intricate. I could imagine if you had some kind of intricate, haircut that maybe it cost a ton of money. But come on.
Well, I think it's also worth understanding that the people in the decision-making offices for the Detroit Pistons have a lot more information about this case and Malik Beasley than we do. And the fact that their actions are so loud that I can't hear their words. And if they felt like this was going to be cleared and this wasn't a big deal, they probably would have signed him to a smaller deal.
The other thing is all these NBA players and former NBA players talk all the time, and you've got players that have like come out and be like, "Yeah, he's smoked."
It's too bad because it was such a good year last year.
Oh, he had one of the best 3 points.
Powell. Like Norm Powell had a year, like broke out at like 31 years old. Malik Beasley, the same thing. I don't know how old he is, but I'm gonna guess like 27, 28. But he had a great year last year. He's ready to get paid.
$42 million.
Which makes me think, which is what I said in the last pod, was why the timing of the information getting out, I don't think was coincidental.
I don't think so either. Right?
Yeah.
No. A couple other things. Mo Wagner re-signed with the Orlando Magic. Certainly brings him an edge, and he was really good off their bench last year. I thought that had like when they lost him and Suggs, for the extended amount of time. Because you remember they got by without Paolo, they got by without Franz. They like kept getting by, and it was like, what is going on? And then the Mo Wagner and Jalen Suggs losses were more profound than even they were able to get by with one of the stars being out, but having those two guys out really took an edge away from what they did.
I watched a Magic Lakers game, and I was like, is Mo Wagner having a revenge game? Like it was I was like, you get fired to play your old team or whatever. I was just like, I think it was the first half. He had like, I don't know, 12, 14 points. I was like, what is going on here?
He's feisty too.
He's a good 17, 12, 14 minutes a game player.
He's feisty, and he's one of your best players' brothers.
Exactly. So his brother's on the team. Yeah.
Yep. So that's cool too. And then the other one that is worth mentioning, we talked about Denver a little bit earlier. Tim Hardaway Jr., just another like vet. Go out there. I mean, again, can you go in there and knock down open threes? Can you do that? Because you're going to generate a bunch of corner threes and open threes when you're playing with Nikola Jokic. Can you knock down some corner threes? And even at this stage, and I thought, and he's a good vet. He's a good vet. That again, you're not asking him to be a starter and play 30-something minutes for you, but there are certain nights for sure that I tell you this, the people in Detroit really loved him.
He did. He had a tough series against the Knicks. And like I said, I worked with his dad, so I kept close attention to him. He's like I'm a Game of Thrones guy. They say like when a Targaryen is born, the gods flip a coin. It's like he's either going 0 for 3 or he's going 4 for 7 from 3. You know what I mean? Like it's one of the two. It's one of those things where it's like you put him in his first rotation, and if he gets the open shots, he's the got it or he doesn't. And the days that he got it, it looks great. The days he doesn't, guess what? You're not going back in the second half. I think that's fine for Denver.
That's all you need him for.
And again, he'll get the Jokic bump too. He'll get the Jokic bump. Jokic creates open shots for his teammates.
Absolutely. All right, let's get to we're going to do some perfect fits and we're going to do some disasters in terms of moves that have been made this NBA offseason. We got 3 each.
I want to say something about this. This is how I approach this.
Okay.
I'm not evaluating the transaction because I think a lot of my disastrous transactions, I probably would have done the same thing if I were that team in the moment. I'm forecasting how it's going to play out.
Okay. Me too. You want to start with fits or disasters?
Disasters. Come on, please.
All right, my first disaster. The Pelicans trading and then drafting Derik Queen, which was already stupid, right? We hated it on the surface. Like
everybody did.
Do you think you traded your unprotected lottery pick next year to move up to draft Derik Queen? Okay,
I started looking at a bunch of Derik Queen tape, and I was like, "What am I missing? Like, what did they see?"
Well, no, I don't think I'm not. This is not to me a commentary on what Derik Queen's going to be. It is that you already have Zion. Then they back it up. And I thought there was some promise in Missy, the kid they drafted last year from Baylor, right? Long, athletic, and like,
Even Missy,
I was like, you know what? Maybe this guy's going to be able to play us Zion. Oh, no. They went out and they said, not only are we going to draft Derik Queen and use that, and so now, I guess, are we playing him alongside Zion? Is he playing? Who cares? We're bringing in Kevon Looney. So then they go and they sign Kevon Looney away from the New Orleans Hornets, or I'm sorry, from the Golden State Warriors. He's been there forever. And it's like, okay, so now I have Zion, Queen, Looney. I got Herb Jones and Trey Murphy, right? Like those guys are going to be playing. You got to find a way to get them on the court. And then I had this promising guy that came up in Missy. And it's like, are you expecting it's going to be Looney and Zion together? Is it like, where does? Okay, all right, Joe Dumars. Okay.
No, not only that is they traded the pick because they knew that both that they'd be great next year, and that pick, their own pick is probably going to be so late. And was it the Bucks pick? Is the better of the two of them?
I'm just so. I'm so confused.
It's something.
I'm so confused as to why you would use that manner of asset to go up and get Derik Queen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then your free agent move is to go get Kevon Looney. Okay.
How do I explain this? Right around like late September, I could pretty much look at every NBA roster. I'll say like 26 of the 30 NBA rosters and kind of like glass half full it. You know what I mean? And be like, well, if such and such takes a leap and if this works out, but I can't do it with the Pelicans.
Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe you know what?
I don't think so.
Maybe he's just looking at it and he's going, my big rotation is going to be Looney and Missy, and then I'm going to have Zion and Derik I guess Queen's going to get on. But okay, all right.
This is something that I want to explain early on. That I probably would have done the same thing were I this team. This is not a criticism of the transaction. I think DeAndre Ayton on the Lakers is going to be an absolute disaster. I think it's going to be an absolute disaster. And for me, watching Luka with Gafford and Lively, it just all made so much sense. It's like, set me a good screen, I'll go around it, and you just roll to the hoop and I'll put pressure on the defense to help with their big. If there's room to shoot, I'll shoot. If there's room to lob, I'll lob, and you finish up the lobs, and I'll make life work. So great for everybody. I especially loved Lively because he could kind of like Hartenstein operate from the short roll and pass out to the corner, pass out to an open wing. And I was like, this makes sense to me. They went to the NBA Finals. And there wasn't a long list of centers available for the Lakers that could match that. And they all ended up on other teams. So when Ayton gets bought out, I was pretty surprised. I'm sure the Lakers were too. They're like, we need a center. There's literally like no one else available. So I'm not mad at them acquiring Ayton at the number they did. What bothers me is his fit with the team. This is an extremely defensively challenged team. DeAndre Ayton is not a defensive big. And in my memories, we all remember Ayton from the Suns final run, right? And my memories of him are like hitting like 15-footers, 14-footers, just like has really good mid-range touch for someone of his size. He can catch a lob and dunk, but he doesn't. And then I had to do some research for this one.
He was also an opposing big when Giannis Antetokounmpo had 50-something points to win the title.
Yeah, like I said, but I had to do some research. And I looked at his shots last year because I was like, let me see if the numbers match like my thoughts about him. Last year, he had 76 dunks, 69 hook shots. I don't really know how they classify hook shots on Basketball Reference, but I assume it's like sort of like
baby hooks.
Yeah, baby hooks and sort of like just kind of shoulder pushes. 63 layups. So 76 dunks, 69 hook shots, 63 layups, 227 jump shots. And he made 6 for 32 threes. So basically, he's like a mid-range jump shooting big. That is not what the Lakers need on offense, and he does not provide anything that they need on defense. I think that DeAndre Ayton will be an absolute disaster. And I just gave you a bunch of numbers, but there's also like the whole reputation that he doesn't work that hard. That ain't going to work either. Like, it's going to be an absolute disaster. The idea that the Lakers, the 3 seed in the West from last year, have now fixed their problems by losing Dorian Finney-Smith and adding LaRavia and Ayton is just, that's no. All
right. 3 things on this. Number 1, the biggest problem is they're counting on him. This was the Jackson Hayes deal last year. It's like, okay, we need you. Like, the problem is not as much Ayton as it is, I need you to be good. Like, this is a very important role on this team. Secondly, JJ Redick is going to hate his ass.
Hate him.
Hate his guts.
He punches the competitor. Yes. Over under physical altercations between JJ Redick and DeAndre Ayton. I'm going like 2.5.
3, one of my proudest moments on the mismatch is something that still to this day people bring up to me. And that is that I watched DeAndre Ayton play, and I came on here, and now every time everybody that listens to the mismatch watches him, thinks about it, I said he plays like he has in AirPods. AirPod Ayton. Oh. He looks like he's just got the AirPods in and he's just jogging up and down the court with really not that much to do with the rest of the game. He's just kind of going back and forth, and it's a ball happens to like whatever. All right. Yeah.
He's a great mid-range jump shooter. And I honestly think that Chris Paul is so cerebral that he's like sort of like takes him a couple months playing with his team to read what everybody's spot is and what everybody needs and what's going to work with him. And he elevated Ayton to a starting center in the finals level player. And we've never seen anything like that from him since.
Next one. Disaster. Holiday to the Blazers. All right. So I've let this one settle down. I hate this. I hate it. $104 million for 3 years, and you're going to pay him at age 37. This is a team that went 23-18 the rest of the way and started to think that they're like, okay, now we need to go and take the next step. And it's like you've got Sharp, and you've got Kamara, and you've got Klingon, and you've got Scoot, and you got these young guys, and you're kind of like building up, and now you're going to throw like the amount of money that takes up on your books. And not only, obviously, they got off of, they moved off of Anthony Simons in this deal. It's like, I don't understand why this is the move now. Not that he's certainly not going to actively hurt you. He shouldn't actively hurt you.
No.
What I'm saying is, where does this get you in the Western? If you were in the East, the acquisition of Jrue Holiday would at least possibly be palatable. You're in the Western Conference. Where is this putting you? Like, name the best players you've got. In the end, it's just a team that sped up its timeline. This happens all the time. It happens all the time. The patience runs out, and then they get a little high on your own supply, right? Because you look, they were 23-18. 2 reasons. Number one, everybody missed every 3 against them. Did they get better defensively? For sure. But the numbers tell you that everybody started missing threes against them. They had like the lowest 3-point percentage against. That wasn't just because of their defense. Teams just started randomly. And the other thing is, you know why teams start missing threes against you? And you know why you start winning a bunch of games in the second half? And I say this as someone who has covered a mid-team. Okay? Nobody gives a crap about that game the second half of the year. You've already established that you're one of those. You're table for 7 the night before. You are table for 7. And guess what? Teams come in, they don't shoot as well against you. You're catching the wind. Like, you come out, you're still playing hard. You're feeling yourself. You're doing good. You're trying to, maybe we could get to the play-in, though they ran out of time on that. But I promise you that second half is a bit of a mirage, because once you establish yourself as not very good the first half of the season, people stop those teams. That's the break game.
Yeah.
That's the break game. And now, look, credit to you. You're playing great down the stretch. But now you started to believe that you're like on to something. And so you're going to try to speed this up by getting this vet point guard in there. And it's like, where is that going to get you? Seriously, what is the best you could possibly get to? And your best players, theoretically, are still a couple years away from becoming your best players.
I didn't really think about it like that, sort of like the visiting team coming in, but it is one of those games where it's like the West Coast road trip games where it's like you have to play the Warriors before them, or you're like coming from like the Denver, you know what I mean? Like these like real teams that you really have to get up for, and you're looking at Portland like, we'll be fine.
And it's marked down. It's marked down as a win.
It's marked, and then a hard playing team. I like Chauncey, well coached, can beat you, especially if your team is not in a position where they need to win games late in the season. You know, because that happens to a lot of the teams. A lot of teams, it's like they're either locked into a high seed or they're not going to make the playoffs at the play-in. So it's kind of like, whatever. Great game.
And they caught a bunch of teams.
Yeah. And
it's like, hey, look, if we would have played like that for both halves of the season, we would have won 46 games. Bro, you're never playing like that for both halves. Like, you weren't that good.
And veteran in the locker room.
You've gotten.
I love a veteran in the locker room on a young team that's like PJ Tucker. You know what I mean? Or like on a minimum. That's great. That's a great role. Look at James Johnson for the Pacers. Like, we're paying him $33 million to be like the adult in the room. No. Especially that third year. I'll be shocked if he's still on the team at that point. But yeah, it's a tough one. That'll be a disaster. We're staying with disasters. All right. Let me look at my notes. This one's obvious. This is obvious. Waiving Dame Lillard to make room to sign Myles Turner is an absolute disaster.
Terrible.
And it's just like, bro, I really liked Myles Turner when he was Defensive Player of the Year candidate Myles Turner, who could also shoot threes. But like, I think there's this bump that you get when you get traded to a new team, that your perception becomes so much better than the reality of who you are. Like all of a sudden where it's like Myles Turner, like he'll replace Brook Lopez. He's more active and like he can do all of this and that. Like Myles Turner was a really good player on the Pacers, But here's what he scored in the finals: 15, 16, 9, 12, 13, 3, and 6. And everybody talks about how he can shoot. He played 23 playoff games. 23 playoff games. He had 6 of those games where he made 2 or more three-pointers. That means in the other 17 games, he had 0 or 1 made three-pointer. Like, he is not as good a shooter as you think he is. And he is not going to take this team and replace Brook Lopez and Dame Lillard's production. It's just not going to happen.
I like Myles Turner, and I like the fit with Giannis.
No.
Yes, I do.
This is going to be a disaster. I'm saying this is going to be a disaster. We'll check back in. on this in February.
I mean, I don't like their guards and their wings, and I don't like. I mean, again, this is only palatable if the only thing was we're losing Giannis if we don't do something.
That's
like
the thing. The only thing that makes sense if Giannis says to me, if Myles Turner doesn't end up on our team in the next 2 weeks, I'm out. But there's no way that happens. There's no way that happens. I just think this is desperate. It's
of course
stupid.
it is.
And you're going to be paying Dame Lillard $22 million like when my kids are graduating high school and they're 12 right now. Like, what is happening? What is happening?
In
what
5 years.
What are you doing? Yeah.
In 5 years, there's
5
no
years. Way. How old's your daughter going to be in 5 years? 17?
17 years old.
Yeah, my son's going to be 17. Can you imagine that? My son's going to be shaving, and they're going to be paying Dame Lillard $22 million a year. What is this?
My last disaster, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm doing this not because I totally foresee disaster. I'm being honest, all right, on the front end.
Okay.
I'm doing this mostly out of spite. Bro, if I have to hear or read one more thing about what a win it was for the Spurs to get friggin' Luke Kornet, I am gonna throw up. Who gives a shit? Seriously. I know he played for the Celtics. I know they were awesome, but good. I know he had the 7 blocks in that game against the Knicks.
One game.
But, like, dude, he also, all right. He's like a big and doesn't shoot threes. He's like, oh my God, Luke Kornet. You would have thought that they signed a 10-time All-Star the way people talked about this. He's just falls into the same line of every big Spurs white guy that they've had for the last 20 years. If it ain't Zach Collins, it's Jrue Eubanks, or it's Jakob Portal, or Tiago Splitter, or Davis Bertans, or whatever. And it's like, oh, Luke Kornet's really going to make a huge difference for the Spurs. Like, dude. All right. Enough.
He had one impactful playoff game on a national stage, and that's his like regular modus operandi. It's like this guy. There's a reason that he was like a Westchester Knick, which is like the G League team. And the vibe's like, oh, he's 7 feet tall. He can hit threes. Like, he's the future of the Knicks franchise. He gets to the Knicks, and everyone's like, oh, he sucks. Yeah, can't move.
He is like, J Huff needs better PR. He wants to get $40 million.
It's the trade bump. Like, once you get traded, you become so much more valuable than you actually are. J Huff is not valuable. I watched so many stupid Grizzlies games, and he couldn't get on the floor, and they're down by 20.
And the other thing, they signed him for $40 million. What do you get? $44 million or something like that? No. Luke Kornet. Yes, he did.
Well, let me look at it. No.
He got over $40 million. And
No.
If the Celtics would have brought him back for 5, everybody wouldn't be like, oh my God, what a bargain. They'd be like, oh yeah, fine. Like, you got Luke Kornet.
I have to look this up. This is insane.
Luke Kornet he got $40 million.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did. That's why I'm saying this out of spite. And there's for sure a bunch of people out there being like, Luke Kornet is really good. You don't understand how good Luke Kornet is. Like, come on. Enough.
No. Oh my God.
Already.
I just Googled his name.
He is not.
$41 million for 4 years?
Yeah, dude.
Are the last 3 years team options?
It's not a bargain.
Oh my God. I've watched Luke Kornet play a lot of basketball.
They did he was on a great team. He's on a great team. And I'm not saying he's a bum. I'm not saying he can't be impactful. I'm saying he is a 15-minute basketball player.
But what did they ask him to do on the Celtics?
Who doesn't stretch the floor?
What did they ask him to do on the Celtics? Like, what was his role on the just I don't know, contest shots and get rebounds? Set a screen from time to time.
Let 65-year-old Al Horford breathe for a minute, so we can go put him on the ventilator.
Yeah. Oh wow, that was a good one. The thing is, it's like enough. You can't even call it a disaster. It will just have no impact. No impact.
Just stop.
Whatsoever.
It's just overrated. Like, come on. It's like it feels like the smart thing to say. Like, I watch so much basketball, I know Luke Kornet.
Same thing with Jay Huff, dude.
Not explaining.
Same thing with Jay Huff.
Yes. I need to explain to you how you don't understand how awesome Jay Huff is.
Yeah. Okay. Jay Huff was awesome for 3 weeks in late October. He was awesome. And since then, I don't remember anything Jay Huff did. Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to make my last one brief because the whole thing is just a disaster. It's just a disastrous franchise doing disastrous things. Whatever that is going on with the Brooklyn Nets is going to be a disaster. It's set up to be a disaster. It's on purposely a disaster. And if this is the plan, is to be young and terrible, then God bless you. But to draft 5 first rounders who can't shoot or do anything is just hilarious. And then
trade for Michael Porter's contract.
Michael Porter Jr.
No.
I don't know. He's not going to fill the seats. He'll get the Nets bump like Mikal Bridges did, where it's early on, Mikal Bridges was cooking when he was on the Nets, and he'll be fine. But they extended a qualifying to Cam Thomas. I think they need Cam Thomas to be a thing.
Sure.
Cam Thomas, Porter Jr., Claxton, and Yegor. I just don't know what there is to be excited about in Brooklyn.
I mean, you can. The thing to get excited about is that you, Jacoby, can affordably
watch the tickets. That's what I was
visiting
thinking.
Teams.
As I was putting this down, yes. I was like, "Oh, do you know what this means?"
Yep.
It's only an extra.
Hell, you could probably get
4
season
stops
tickets
on the Q train. It's only an extra 4 stops on the Q train from where I would get off to get out of Madison Square Garden and where I would get off to go to Barclays. And my kids are all going to have Nets jerseys and T-shirts. They're not going to know the Knicks exist.
Yegor jerseys.
Yegor.
That's what you need. Yegor jerseys.
I try to convince myself into him. It's tough. It's
maybe,
he can pass. Well, maybe pass to.
Get him a Danny Wolf jersey.
Danny Wolf.
He's a fun one. He's look. He knocks down some shots, and some nerd's gonna have him making $41 million in a couple of years.
Yes. I saw that he's gonna make $9 million. Kornet's gonna make $9 million next year, and he's made $9 million in his whole entire career up to this point.
Correct.
Shouldn't that tell you something before you give him $41 million for 4 years?
They found the diamond in the rough. All right, perfect fits.
These are easy.
Yeah, easy.
Let's go quick.
So, all right. So Durant's gotten all the headlines, but Finney Smith is the one. Finney Smith he's the one to me. That guy is a flat winner. Do you know that in players that played over 1,000 minutes last year, off court, plus minus, right? When I'm on the court, when I'm on. Number one will be totally unsurprising to you. It is Nikola Jokic. Number 2 is Finney Smith.
Huh.
He is just a flat winner. He just is. He's the perfect kind of role player for the 2025 NBA. In the absence of, that was the one thing that I worried about when they made that Durant trade, was losing Brooks and losing that perimeter defender, that true wing defender. I can go guard the
Easton and Thompson.
But I'm going to go and I'm going to reliably guard the best player and be able to knock down a shot when you throw it to me, right? I'm not going to take that many, but I can. And I love Finney Smith. I do. I love Finney Smith, and I think that especially after the move that they made, that was a very important acquisition because even Amen Thompson, Tari Issa, whatever, you're playing you're going to be playing high-level basketball. You're going to be in the second round of the NBA playoffs.
Second
and you're playing
round.
against and you're playing somebody really good in that second round of the Western Conference playoffs. Well, let's get them to the second round, okay? Because
but they get Durant.
I understand.
And they've got DFS. Do they have enough cumulative playoff scars for your taste, Mr. Vernon?
Oh, yeah. They got a bunch of vets on that team.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good
grief.
What, Jeff Green?
They got Van Vliet, Capella, Steven Adams, Durant, Finney Smith. That's a team of vets. They got their young guys are gone.
I'm really excited about the Rockets' potential.
Finney Smith was the one that I thought was a big one, especially after the whole deal when they lost Dylan Brooks. I thought they still needed to replace that kind of switchable, malleable perimeter, awesome defender, and they got one.
Again, this one's easy. We can go quickly through it. Just the entire Hawks just like glow up this offseason.
Oh, wow.
Like, it's just like, it's like they were on Ozempic. They changed their hair color. They got a nose job. Like they've just like, I didn't expect this from this team.
It's a home court advantage team.
Oh, that too? That too?
Don't you think so? No. I'm saying I think they have a chance of being one of the top 4 seeds.
Oh, I thought you meant they have a home court advantage because
of course they have a home court advantage.
They did midnight the night before and don't even put their bags down in the hotel lobby and just go out. They have that home court advantage.
They do have that.
But I mean, this to me is like the sky is the limit, and I just didn't see this stuff happening. I didn't see with the aprons and CBA and the mid-level exceptions, all this, but like Nickeil Alexander-Walker, adding him and adding Kristaps Porzingis if he gets over whatever he's got, like Trae Young, Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson, Reese Shea, who had some moments last year. Draft Newell. I don't expect too much from him for his rookie year. And Okongwu, like, apparently the Lakers really tried to get Okongwu last year, and they kept him, which I like. They were like, you know what? This is our guy. The Rockets and the Hawks, I'm going to say some really, really irresponsible things about them when I make predictions for next season.
I just think they have a chance, as I said, of being, look, you would say you have to give Cleveland and New York their spots. But you know that the other 2 that were in the top 4 were Indiana and Boston. And they're going to move down. And you've got this group of like Orlando, Atlanta that have made big moves. And then you could foresee maybe Detroit taking another step forward. Obviously, Milwaukee still has Giannis. But, I mean, again, they're going to be in the mix for a home court advantage spot if they're able to stay relatively healthy.
They could be the 2 seed. They could easily.
Okay, you are going to get irresponsible with this. Okay.
They could be the 2 seed. They could be the 1 seed.
My next thing that I love. Speaking of Orlando, the former Grizzlies in Orlando. So, look, I will just say this to all the Magic fans. Not only are you going to love Desmond Bane, and he is absolutely perfect for what you've got there, then they went and got Tyus Jones, who is absolutely one of my favorite players.
You love Tyus Jones.
I wish it would have gone better for him in Phoenix, but this is a team that was last in the league in assists, Jacoby. The thing I love about Tyus Jones is a total throwback. He actually makes people better. He is the point guard. He knows where you want to catch it. He knows where you are in best position to score. He's never going to turn the ball over, and he's just going to be solid. He's going to be solid. He's going to be able to run your team. And if for a team that it was like last in the league in assists, adding a guy that is that great at turnover to assist ratio along with them, I think is going to be, he's one of the best backup point guards in the league. He is miscast as a starter, but he is a great backup point guard. And beyond that, unbelievable locker room guy, great teammate. And you're going to have that alliance. I mean, I covered both those guys in Memphis. The Bane and Tyus Jones thing is going to be phenomenal guys to bring into that locker room, which was already a good locker room with a good team. Mm-hmm. They're going to up that. I love it.
If Suggs misses games, you've got someone absolutely there. And Cole Anthony's gone. So
Tyus Jones saved 2 Grizzly seasons. That's why I love him so much. When Ja Morant went out.
Yeah.
He was great. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I mean, like one of the sort of like weird stats about Ja Morant is the team plays well without him. A lot of that has to do with Tyus Jones.
A lot of it was Tyus Jones.
Yeah. And Bane, which feels like it happened 3 weeks ago. But you're right. This is going to be a perfect fit. I've got 2 to pick from. I'm going to go Homer here.
Mike Brown.
You see,
It would be funnier than hell if you said Mike Brown after we got the perfect fit after a month.
did you see what they said at the press conference?
What? Was he the perfect fit?
They did a very thorough search.
Mm.
When everybody says no, the search better be thorough.
Thorough.
A very thorough search because no one wanted to do it. Mike Brown, Yabusele.
It wasn't nobody wanted to do it. It was that nobody wanted to give the Knicks their coach.
And Jordan Clarkson.
Oh, Yabusele of Jordan Clarkson. You love it. I do too.
Love it.
I love that. Good grief.
It's because they're going to play more players. They're not going to play everybody 45 minutes a game.
It also gives you 8 awesome players to be able to put in the game depending on situation.
I think it's going to make a dramatic difference for the Knicks regular season.
Absolutely.
Right? Regular season. Jordan Clarkson's been playing in Utah, so people don't really notice, but he's still a bucket. And Yabusele was phenomenal in the Olympics and really good on a Sixers team that people stopped caring about right around the turn of the year. But I love these two for this team because they're going to go to a regular rotation. If you follow Tom Thibodeau, you have to change things up. And part of that is playing your bench. And I just think that
I'll tell you this.
These two will fit in really, really. They've got 10 legitimate basketball players that can play.
There is going to be that night where they bring in Deuce, Clarkson, Yabo, and Precious, and they run somebody off the court. Seriously.
Yes. And then
the
starters start looking at the clock and be like, I normally come back in around this time.
They just catch fire because Deuce could get on a heater, Clarkson could get on a heater, and Yabo's one of those guys that you could look up and he's got you 9 points in 6 minutes.
And they were a very healthy team last year. I think they had good injury luck outside of Robinson. He was obviously hurt.
Yep.
But OG played and Brunson played and Cat played. You got to have 10 guys in your rotation during the regular season because you don't always have those guys available. And I thought they were really lucky last year with that, which gave them the high seed and gave them the playoff success.
My last perfect fit is really because I wanted to give this guy a shout out because I saw that he signed the 1-year deal for $3 million. So he ain't doing it for the money. He's made more money than he could ever have. And that is Kyle Lowry coming back for a 20th year with the Philadelphia 76ers. You go into very rarefied air when you have played 20 seasons. So 22 is Vince and LeBron, okay? 21 years is Robert Parrish,
Dirk, right?
Kevin Willis, Derik, Garnett, Kareem, and Kobe. That's it. And then the 20s are Jamal Crawford, Udonis Haslem, Chris Paul, Moses Malone, James Edwards, Stockton and Malone, Charles Oakley, Shaq, Juwan Howard. That's it. In the history of the NBA.
Oh.
In the history
Juwan
of the NBA.
played 20 years?
Yes. And now what I love is that Kyle Lowry, you're only doing that to be an awesome veteran leader. He does not need $3 million, right?
No.
And he's there. And look, and they've got Edgecombe, and they've got Maxey, and they've got McCain, and they've got these guys, right? That was a dismal season last year. So you know what his role is, right? To kind of be keeper of the flame. And we now have a dearth of vets in the league. True OGs. They're just few and far between. And it is so hard to have a career for, 20 years is unbelievable. And I love the guys that obviously are not what they once were. They've had their day in the sun. They've made their all-star teams or whatever else. And they're doing it to be the vets for the younger players. That's the role. You're being
it's not just for the vets. It's also I want to continue to play NBA basketball. Sure. I still think I can contribute to a basketball team. And maybe I'm not as valuable as I used to be, and I've
but their
humbled myself
value is
about
even
that.
greater. Their value is even greater. And you saw the way that like he's got this almost like this big brother, little brother, roll your eyes at the immature Jared McCain. Like their relationship they developed last year. And now Edgecombe coming in, like he'll be able to learn a lot from Kyle Lowry. And there's it's very hard for the young guys that come into the league to have people around that they can learn from. Eras have changed. Eras have changed dramatically. And it used to be a bunch of guys had vets, that they learned from. You talk to any of these great players, and there's somebody, it's Charles Barkley talking about Moses Malone changing things for him, and it's Kevin Garnett talking, it's on and on and on. There's somebody that was like their OG. There was somebody that was their vet that kind of taught him the way of the world and everything else. Even Gilgeous-Alexander talks about how his life's completely different because of Chris Paul.
That's what I was about to say. I want to break format here and ask, why aren't we hearing more about Chris Paul?
Well, he's got one more year left, right? He says he's going to play one more year.
But where?
Oh, he's going to end up in Milwaukee. I think they said he was going to go to the Clippers, though, right? Like that he might just run it back with the Clippers one time.
It's just interesting because I think he's more valuable on the floor than Kyle Lowry. But I love the decisions that he's made to go to the Thunder and go to the Spurs. This isn't like Karl Malone going to the Lakers being like, put me on the best team possible.
Maybe it'd be the Clippers.
You know what I mean? Clippers would be interesting.
That's who I think of. Do you think of him as a Hornet or a Clipper?
Chris Paul?
I think of him as a Clipper.
I actually think of him as like a Clipper and a Rocket.
Oh, a Rocket? He wasn't there long.
No, but that's 1 year when they missed the 17 threes in a row. I
love his hamstring.
I love that team. I love that team. I wanted that team to beat the Warriors so bad.
Yeah. All right, what's your last one?
I mean, no, I think of him as a Clipper, not a Hornet. Because that Lob City Clippers team is just so
hateable.
No, I liked him.
Wow.
I was in LA at the time. I've never been a Lakers guy.
I covered all the Grizzlies Clippers wars. Those were great. That was a great rivalry.
I didn't watch the scripted Clippers show. Did you watch that? They did a winning time about the Clippers.
Yeah. No, I didn't watch it.
I watched a little bit. I just couldn't. It didn't hit. Here's my final perfect fit. This one's obvious, but I'm just going to say it anyway. Just Cam Johnson, maybe Valančiūnas, Tim Hardaway, and Bruce Brown to the Nuggets.
Perfect.
It's just it's so obvious.
Yes.
Just give Jokic better toys to play with.
Yep.
That's all. Just give him better toys to play with. He'll do it all. He is your offense.
Have you seen the offseason? Here, why you got Google in front of you? Look at these new pictures of Christian Brown.
I saw that.
What the hell?
I don't know.
Looks like he's been on P90X or something.
I think it's just angles and lighting and stuff.
That's a super dated reference, isn't it? Okay.
P90X. Was that the one that was one barbell that could be 10 pounds?
Yeah, it was that Tony Horton guy.
Yeah.
It was DVDs. That's how long ago it was.
With the one with you're as old as me. The one that had elastic bands instead of weights.
Oh,
what was that called?
I can't remember.
I had a buddy that had one that's worst. Guess what? Weights are better than elastic bands. But it's just it just makes sense. Just give Jokic more things to play with. Just surround him with a little bit more shooting. And, I think Bruce Brown, we haven't really seen play basketball, but Tim Hardaway's going to have those nights where he hits
awesome
5-6
cowboy
threes.
hat collection, though.
Yeah, he's got
I almost prefer him not playing.
Me too. They'll still win 50 games even without him. So he gets to look at his outfits more.
Yeah, just wear the cowboy hats on the sideline.
It was too bad he was on the Raptors because no one talked about how ridiculous he dressed. And I looked it up for this pod. He's from Eastern Massachusetts. He's from a suburb of Boston. He's not even a cowboy guy.
I remember when he was being scouted out of college, he played at Miami. I remember somebody telling me he was an awesome football player. Awesome. Which stands to reason. He looks like the kind of guy that would be awesome at football, right? Yeah.
I believe it. Do you know had one of my Bruce Brown stories was when he was with the Nets. I think it was pre-Nuggets he was with the Nets. And, I'm a New York guy, so you kind of hear a lot more about the local teams than most. he became this great screen and roll guy. And he's like 6'4". But
yeah. You're right.
Offense. They completely unlocked their offense by having like Bruce Brown be their screen and roll guy who catches it like the short roll and like make things happen. I was just like, I don't know how this is working. I don't know why this is working, but it is working. And there's a large sample size. It was like they unlocked their offense by having Bruce Brown be the screen and roll guy. I don't think he'll be playing that role for the Nuggets, but he'll be wearing some cool clothes when he's not playing.
Yeah. The Nuggets offseason has been very, very good. Like
it's
sneaky
like
good. Sneaky
like
good.
the Hawks, I didn't see the room. I saw more constraints on them. I didn't think these would be teams that would have much better rosters this year than last year. But it goes to show, even with all the restrictions, if you are creative and lucky, you can make things happen.
When you make win now moves, because you're trying to, like, when you have the best player in the world, or certainly one of the top 3 players in the world, every chance you have a chance to win the title. So you need to build a team around him that is equipped for playoffs. And again, you only have 2 spots to fill, Jacoby. Gordon's a lock and Murray's a lock. So you got 2 spots to fill. Can you just ably fill those? And Christian Brown's going to play a lot, right? So, like, you just
it's also just like less Strother, less Watson. You know what I mean? Right. Like those guys were on the floor a lot. And maybe they'll turn into great players, but they weren't as effective as the guys
they've lost the guy, like, you know, Michael Malone didn't want to play him, and Calvin Booth wanted those guys to become, you know, when you're the GM that drafted them, now they've got new management. They ain't gonna care. They ain't gonna care about that. Yeah. They'll bring in vets right over those guys' heads. Right.
I know what Tim Hardaway Jr. is gonna do. I don't know what Strother is gonna do.
For sure. Or any of the Jalen Pickett, all of them, right?
Yeah.
That he, the GM always wants you to develop the guys that he's drafted, rather than go get guys, right? And so that thing went completely sideways when they lost KCP. Michael Malone was mad about that. He wasn't going to let that go. And so, anyways, but we like what they did in the offseason, for sure. I am going to be headed out to Las Vegas later in the week. Yeah. I'll be catching a bunch of summer league. So by next Monday, I'm going to have all manner of ridiculous thoughts on whatever I see out in summer league. Hopefully I'll be able to glean a bunch of info from people and see a lot of players. I can't wait.
The trouble with the summer league basketball is it comes right after the finals. So your brain is used to watching a certain level of basketball being played. And I'm watching it. I'm just like, this is disgusting.
I know.
It's this is gross.
Do you know that the first night, the opening night of Summer League, like they've traditionally always done, I believe, 1 versus 2. So I was like, when are they going to do Cooper Flagg versus Dylan Harper, right? Like that'll be the marquee night or whatever. Oh, no. They changed it up this year for the Cooper Flagg debut. Not Dylan Harper.
Let me guess. No idea.
Bronny. Think the NBA knows what it's doing?
Yeah. There's like Bronny updates. Like he's got some quote about how important defense is. It's just like, what are we doing?
Cooper Flagg and Bronny. I mean, you want to talk about a hard ticket. That first night of Summer League, they're going to be facing each other. It's going to be lit. So, anyways, there's
look forward to those reports.
I'm excited for this rookie class. I am. The Edgecombe thing got me excited. I was like, you know what, man? Let's go. Let's do this.
You can't read too much into it, but like Edgecombe popped off the screen. Last
year's rookie class was lame.
I mean, even during the regular season.
Yeah, it was lame.
Yeah.
They didn't even bro, Zachary Risache was walking through my hotel and not one person recognized him. And that was the number 1 pick in the draft.
Yeah.
He was the number 1 pick. I'm saying
6'9" too. It's like,
I got it, but any of these guys, even if you're just like a rostered player, if Bruce Brown walked through, there would be people running up to him.
Probably.
Hey, Bruce, can I get a picture?
Can I get a had a plaid shirt and a gigantic belt buckle. They're gonna be like, I love your song, Tipsy.
They'd be like, yeah, hey, Shabuzi.
Yeah. Got a haircut? But it'll be fun. It'll be a fun summer league because it's a fun rookie class.
Yeah, it is a fun rookie class. And then obviously you catch a bunch of sophomores and third-year players that are still playing there. and the ones that don't get to play as much on the court throughout the season. So they'll show up in Summer League, and inevitably some of the second and third year guys will pop off. It's the way this thing goes every year. Thank you to our executive producer, Jesse Lopez. Thank you to Tucker on video and Jacoby. I'll talk to you next week.